Hey there, I'm Yankel, head chef at ButcherBox, and it's my job to cook with frozen meat. So I hear a lot of things about defrosting your meat, and most of them are nonsense. We're gonna address the top 5 myths. Myth number 1, refreezing your meat results in a loss of quality. Well, here's the thing. We send you frozen meat. If you've defrosted it because you plan on cooking it, and then your plans change, you can refreeze it. The reason is, meat that's prepared to be frozen is vacuum sealed specifically to be frozen. So as long as the seal is intact, put it back in the freezer, use it another time. I call that myth busted. Myth number 2, discoloration means the meat is bad. Well, that's not necessarily true. Discoloration is actually a natural occurrence when meat encounters oxygen. So discoloration doesn't necessarily mean the meat is bad. Use your other omnivorous senses to tell you whether that meat is safe to eat, such as smell and touch. I call that myth number 2, busted. Myth number 3, if the packaging is cracked, it means the meat is bad. Well, here's why that's not true. Meat that's frozen and then shipped is stored at temperatures well below 0, often 20 below or more. And at 20 degrees below 0, plastic begins to get brittle. When the plastic is brittle, if the meat moves around during shipping, odds are it may develop some cracks. But here's the thing, as long as you receive that meat within the safe temperature range, that's 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below, that meat is totally safe to use. So I call that myth busted. Myth number 4, if you haven't planned ahead of time, you can't cook the meat that's in the freezer. Well, that's not true at all. Take the meat out of the freezer, put it in a bowl, put it in the sink, run some cold water on it. About 30 minutes later, it will be defrosted, as long as it's not like a 15-pound turkey. So, go defrost some meat and then cook it. I call that myth busted. Myth number 5, you can't cook a steak that's frozen. Not true, and here's why. Take the steak out of the freezer, run it underwater for about 2 minutes, just so the surface is soft. And then you can season it, put it right into the pan or on the grill or into the oven and cook it. It'll come out beautiful. In fact, it may be juicier than you're expecting. So I call that very much myth busted. One final piece of advice. Whenever you're defrosting something, whether it's on the counter, in the sink, or in the fridge, put it in a bowl, a bag, or a tray with a lip. That way, if there's any leakage, you keep it contained and it doesn't get messy. All right, well, stay tuned for more Mythbusters coming soon. I'm Yankel. See you next time.